Good morning everyone. First of all, I'd like to wish you all a very happy new year and I hope you all had a good Christmas. I do apologise for not uploading at all during December. It's just that I had my craft head on and I had to make 3 jumpers for my children and their respective other halves. So I was really busy, and then straight after Christmas I sorted out my nail room and my craft room. So if anybody wants to have a look around, let me know in the comments below and I'll give you a quick view of where I work, and obviously working as well. So been really busy, so apologies for not uploading, but my long awaited polygel from Venalisa has arrived. And I'm going to give a demonstration today using the nail forms which they recommend, which are these. And I have done this hand already, and I will explain, well, I'll show you how I achieved these on, this was my non-dominant hand, so I thought I'd practice on that. And one of the key things to these nail forms is to get the correct size, because this one is not the correct size and it sticks up because it's not actually attached to my nail, but it was too late, so this one probably will be the first one to pop off. But I was quite pleased with how they turned out. So excuse me, frog in the throat. So I will be showing you how I use these now jewel forms, but the sizing is not quite correct, I don't think, because they're 0 and I have fat thumbs, so I always have to go for the extra large, the size 0 for my thumb, and this is it. Look, nowhere near. So be aware of that. So what I did on this one, I actually got an ordinary tip with size 0, which as you can see is much bigger, and I used this, so, and it worked perfectly. So I don't know why you can't just use tips that if you've already got them in stock at home, why you can't use these, and you don't necessarily have to have the specific jewel forms that they're selling you, because there's no difference. The only difference is they may be a little longer, but you can buy really long nail tips. These are way too long for me anyway, so you've got plenty of room to grip, to take it off. As you can see, I've done it with that one, no problem. And if you want it longer, you just reapply and just move it further down so you can get a longer version. And the only other thing with these is these little tabs, which are no good to man or beast, to be honest. So that is their 0, and it's, I mean, it's a joke. There's not a 0. Anyway, I've ordered the gel in clear, which is what I used on this hand, and pink. So I will demonstrate with the clear today. I also ordered the CANNI top coat in the 15mm, and this one is a reinforced gel. I had to ask them exactly where you put that on, and it's primer, base, colour, reinforced gel, and then the top coat. So, and then I ordered the CANNI base coat as well in the 15mm, and I also ordered for my children some CANNI colours in the 15mm, and I haven't got them, obviously I've given them away for Christmas, but I had one spare one, so I'm probably going to order some more of these, because the consistency is so thick. It's really I'm hoping that you probably only need 1 coat of this. So, and they do lots and lots of colours, so I'm going to be ordering some more of those, so I will be swatching those when I get some. And then the other thing is they had this brush stroke well, it's a dual, it's a brush on one end and a slicer on the other. So on this end, this is to get your little dibbit of polygel from the tube. And then this end is the brush. This end is the brush. There you go. That is the brush to apply it with, but I didn't actually use that because I've watched videos on how to do these dual forms, which they're supposed to be easy, but I didn't find them particularly easy. So that's the brush. So it's a nice package. I'm sure it will come in handy for stirring things. So let's crack on with the demonstration. So first things first, you need to measure up to get the correct size. So I'm going to use this tip because the 0 on the other is way too small. This is the 0, which will fit. No, that's a bit too big. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was just a demonstration. So this is size. This is number 1, which will fit on my. There is like a small gap at the sides because of the shape of them here. So sometimes you may have to fill in, but when you put them on, it does squidge out a little bit as well. So, and the first thing to do is size up for your nails, and then once you've done that, put them in the correct order so you know which one to grab when you're doing this. Because I have ridiculously short nails, I actually put a form on as well when I'm using the dual form, because when you put the dual form on, the gel underneath will squish and go onto the skin. So I put a dual form on so it doesn't, and it sort of spreads it out more to give you a more natural shape underneath. So that I know it's more expense, but it's to save a lot of hassle with it sticking to the skin. So first of all, I will start with my primer. Let that dry. Get my finger guard because my fingers are shaking for some reason. Then I will go in with my base coat. Come a bit closer. There we go. My base coat next. This is a really nice formula as well, this base coat. It's quite thick. And we'll cure that in the lamp. So I'm going to be using 1806 clear Venalisa Polygel Quick Building Nail Gel. Keep tightly sealed, and my advice is also don't stand it up on its head like that. Oh, like that, because it all goes into the lid. So when you open it, it's all sort of falling out. So store it that way up. And then I know you've got to then push it back up again, but it's better to have it to do that than it all escaping into the lid. So I use my cuticle pusher, and this end I use to scrape the little divot off the top of the gel bottle, and this end I use to level it out. I've seen people doing that on the internet, so I thought I'd use that. So take a small dollop. I always put the lid back on the bottle as well. And then grab your dual form. Ooh. Oh, they're so fiddly. I put it that end to start with. And then with this end, because it's curved, it seems to sort of mould into the form easier. So spread it out. You don't want to put it too thick, otherwise it all squishes out. And you need to sort your length out as well. I don't like mine too long. I think I've done mine way too long. But yeah, it's very stringy. Make sure it's up at the sides. Put that to one side. Then flip it. And place on the nail. If you've got the correct size, you don't actually need to push it down too much. Just make sure you get that air bubbles out and push it up towards the cuticle. So you see underneath you've got all that extra gel. Well, if I hadn't got the form on, that would all be sticking to my skin. So, and you've got a slight gap there. So that looks pretty good to me. If you've got any escaped, you can always get a small brush with a bit of acetone and wipe around the edge. See that because I've taken my hand off, that's come up. So you just need to press it down a little bit more, and that should stay long enough to put in the lamp. And as soon as you've cured for about 5 seconds, it should be fine. So then put that in the lamp for 60 seconds. Okay, so once it comes out of the lamp, you can take the take the nail form off. Of course, you don't have to use a nail form, I just prefer it. You can cure again up that way, but I find 60 seconds is long enough. And you can pinch together to make sure the C curve is correct. And then you rock it from side to side, and they're not as easy. I've had a bit of spillage here. I shall have to file that off. You can. Then they don't pop off as easy as they show you on the internet. I think they've already released them, and then so if you pull that up, you can gradually see it coming away from the nail. There we go. So that's the first layer. That's the first layer. It's a nice shape, nice C curve. It's not stuck to my skin. So what I do now is I repeat the process, but first of all you need to file off the shiny layer. So I'll just give that a wipe over with some alcohol wipe. Because one layer is definitely not thick enough. It's way too thin. So I file that down, and then I'll come back and repeat the process. Now I've filed off the shiny layer, so I'm going to repeat the process because I need to fill in a bit more here and obviously make it a lot stronger. So we do exactly the same again. We get the same form, another dibbit of the gel. Put the lid back on. Put it back in the form. Turn it round and then make it thicker this end, because this is the tip end. Just sort of gradually pull it back. So you want it thinner at this end, because that's the, you want it thinner this end. This is a cuticle end. Make sure it's right up at the sides. You've got air bubbles in there. I don't know how to get rid of the air bubbles. Just pull it, and then I've done it the wrong end. Oh well. So I've put it the wrong end. It should have been, I've got holding it the wrong way round. Never fear, we'll just flip it over, and we just won't go so far. We'll do that. It just means that we've got a longer tip. I'll just have to cut it off. So I'm not going to waste it. So that's how, in actual fact, that's how you would extend the nail if you wanted it even longer. So push that on there. There's lots of air bubbles in there. Push it down. We'll pop that in the lamp for 60 seconds. Come out of the lamp, so we'll rock it backwards and forwards, and I'm going to have an extremely long nail this time because I put it on the wrong end. So let's get this one off. Come on. There we go. I knew that was going to happen. So what I need to do is file that down and do it again, because I've even got like the little nibbly bits, look. That's funny. So I'm going to chop that down, chop it down with some nail things, what's it? There we go, chop that off. I'll file it down to get rid of all that crackly stuff, and then I'll do it again. Okay, so I've filed it down for the second time, and I'll do a reapply. I did apply 3 coats to this hand as well, so because it just needs to be quite strong, but I am only applying thin layers, so as you can see this is still very flimsy. So apply another layer. I'll put on the correct end this time, but it didn't matter because I still managed to get the tip a bit stronger. So we'll take another divot of the gel. So it's not a great deal of gel there being used. Turn it round, get it the right, oh no, that is the right way. So place the gel on the tip, scrape it off, use this end of the cuticle pusher, or I'll use a different one now. Pull it down, make sure you get to the edges. Probably doing this too much, that's why. There we go. And then flip it and stick it. Push that down on there. Give it a little, get it nicely in place. That's it. Then get a brush with a bit of acetone just to wipe around the edge. Pop that in the lamp again. for 60 seconds. Then we'll take this final one off. There we go. So that's looking much stronger. You can go and cure in the lamp again without the foam on to give it a bit more strength if you'd like, for another, say, 30 seconds. But it's looking pretty good, I think. And file that down into shape. Look at my horrible nails. But then they're going to end up looking like that. So that's that one. I'll file it down and show you the results once I've done that. Now I'm going to add a layer of top coat. If you're going to colour, then you wouldn't put the top coat on. You'd go straight in with the colour, but just for today I'm just going to put a layer of top coat on. That's with top coat. And now I'm going to try applying it using a nail form. I've actually prepped, primed and base coated my nail. So I'm going to get a little divot of the gel. And put on the nail bed. Don't quite know how to do this, but we'll give it a whirl. So a bit of alcohol to spread it out. Right, I'll go ahead and cure that and see where we are with it. Okay, that's now out of the lamp. So let's take the nail form off. Still lots of air bubbles. Oh, great. Lovely. I have now got a nail form stuck to my nail. Great. Don't you just love it when things go right? Now then, am I going to be able to get that out? Probably not. Other than that, I think I prefer forms. I'm not a convert to dual forms. It's a lot of faffing about. Put another thin layer on. Let's just have a look, see what it looks like. It's a lot stronger So you'll only need 2 coats, because obviously you can put it on thicker because it doesn't squidge everywhere. It's far more control. I just don't know how to get rid of the air bubbles. So in summary, these are the finished nails. This one I did with an ordinary tip because it was, the dual form was way too small, so I used an ordinary tip for that and it's come out fine. I just hate all this bubbling, so the gel itself goes on really well, but I just don't know how to get rid of these bubbles. This one I did with a normal form. This one I did with the dual form, and these two I did with an ordinary form. So in my opinion, at the end result there's not a great deal of difference, but these, the ones with the normal form, were so much quicker to do, and the dual forms are supposed to be quicker, but you just have to put so many layers on because it comes out so thin. Whereas this one, and I'll be interested to see how long it lasts, I've only put 1 coat on. This one had 2, this one had 3, this one had 2, and this one had 3. So they've all had the same treatment as a primer, base, and then the polygel. So I'll be interested to see how long they last. But it's all this bubbling because it comes out of the tube like that. So I really wouldn't know how to get rid of all the bubbles, and that's the only thing. But if you're covering it up with a colour, it really doesn't matter. It's just that when you file it down to shape, then the air bubbles, you get little pockets, and you then have to sort of go over it again because you get lots of dips. I've still got a few dips in there. But as a second attempt, this is what they look like with colours on. So, you know, quite nice. Quite a nice shape. But like I say, if you use an ordinary tip, then you can buy tips to the shape that you like and fill those with the polygel. There's nothing to stop you doing that. I don't think there's any need particularly to have the dual forms, as long as you get the length and you've got a little bit something to hold on to when you're filling and twisting to get off, then there's not an issue. It's exactly the same principle as just an ordinary tip. There's nothing particularly, there's nothing different. They're just maybe a little bit more bendy, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy more of these. So that's it. I'm not a professional. I don't profess to teach anybody the right or wrong way. This is me. I'm just being a hobbyist. I enjoy what I do and I like to share what I do because there are lots of other people in my situation, and it just gives my opinion as a complete novice. So I hope you enjoyed. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell button for more notifications. I will be doing some swatches, as I say, on the CANNI gels polishes when they come. And if anybody wants to see my room, then just give me a comment in the down below in the description, and the links to all these polygels will be in the description as well. So see you soon. Bye.